What's happening, people? My name is goukigod today, and wow, I had almost forgotten how full-on and nasty Call of Duty fanboys can be. You say something even slightly anti-Call of Duty and they just collectively lose their shit. I'm referring obviously to that Don't Believe the Hype video that I posted up, which has gone on to get quite a few dislikes. It's actually the most disliked video on my channel to date. And people were nasty to me for all kinds of reasons. The quality of the gameplay, the fact that I was playing on 360, or flat out telling me my opinion was wrong, which is hilarious for obvious reasons. I even had someone criticizing me for being Australian, which is, it's a weird one. But don't worry, I haven't been crying myself to sleep every night about it, just every second night. And I know that much of the negativity comes from younger viewers. Not that there's anything wrong with being young, but youth and the internet don't always mix so well. It's actually been quite positive for my channel. My daily subscriber count has been pretty healthy since that video went up, so it's been good, really. What I find amusing is that I don't even think that I said anything particularly negative about the game. I actually thought that the points that I raised were being reasonably objective, or at least that was my intention. I was just trying to provide a different perspective, as hype has a tendency to warp people's minds, and that's not their fault. That's exactly the point of hype. It's supposed to get you excited enough about something to drop money on it. To be completely honest, I made it just as much for myself as for anyone else, because I'm actually quite excited for the game, and the more videos that I watch and the more that I read about it, the more that I start justifying the purchase of Infinite Warfare just to play it, and that's obviously what Activision want. Anyway, I digress. What I actually wanted to talk about in this video was my thoughts on the multiplayer reveal of Infinite Warfare. Obviously, there's been a huge amount of gameplay drop on YouTube with various people going to COD XP and getting hands-on with the game, which is great for all those people like me and possibly you who didn't get to go hands-on with it. So we know an awful lot about the multiplayer now. And I'm not going to give a disclaimer this time round. I'm going to assume that you're intelligent enough to recognize that what I'm about to say is just my perspective on what I've seen so far. Like I said, I haven't played it. I didn't go to COD XP. I don't have that Activision money. So this is just my impressions based on seeing gameplay from other people. At a high level, to me, Infinite Warfare's multiplayer kind of looks like the love child of Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. I mean, the reason that I say this is predominantly the movement. It looks very floaty and bouncy, and there's lots of wall running and sliding, and it's not at all boots on the ground. It looks even more floaty than Black Ops 3. So it looks like the movement is somewhere between Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. Some things that stood out to me in the gameplay that I've seen so far is that the score streaks look interesting, and some of them look kind of cool. The mech in particular with the giant shield looks pretty cool. I don't know if that's overpowered, but a lot of people saying that it's a lot of fun to use. Once again, it doesn't look like the vast majority of weapons are real. It looks like they're all sci-fi from the main game. Although what I did read is that there will be a classic section in the multiplayer which will have some iconic guns from previous games. So that's definitely exciting. We didn't get to see any of that gameplay or know what the weapons will be, but that's definitely something that's piqued my interest. Of all the new weapons, none of them looked particularly interesting to me, except the handgun that has the optic on the side and you kind of have to turn it on its side, all gangster-like. I'm going to call it the gangster gun. That looks interesting. Hopefully there's some other interesting weapons, but so far it all looks like energy weapons and things that I'm not particularly fond of. From a graphical standpoint, it looks pretty generic. There's nothing that stands out as being particularly unique. Some of the new lighting effects, such as the muzzle flash lighting up on the gun, is quite nice. But my biggest complaint from the visual standpoint is that it looks too colorful. I think for me, in terms of a color palette, Black Ops 2 really hit the nail on the head with that. Ghosts was way too muted, and even some of the earlier Modern Warfare games, like even Modern Warfare 3, was really muted. But I think this game just looks too colorful, and it makes me think that we're going to have all kinds of pink hypercolor skins and whatnot, which is, again, not something that I'm excited for. Something else that I think is worth noting is that variants are returning to the multiplayer. I don't think variants are inherently bad. Real weapons obviously have variants. Some weapons have lots of different variants for specific needs. But variants in Advanced Warfare were not handled all that well. I think not allowing all players to be able to unlock all of them isn't fun. It creates balance issues. And I think one of the worst decisions that's ever been made in a Call of Duty game. Now in this game, there's going to be 4 variants, which may be the same as Advanced Warfare. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's Legendary, Epic, Rare, and Common variants. And you can buy variants this time using a new in-game currency, which is called Salvage. So you earn Salvage in the game, and then you can use this Salvage to buy these variants. I have no idea how much Salvage you earn or how long it would take you to buy variants, but apparently it is possible to earn enough Salvage to unlock absolutely everything. So every variant will be available to every player with enough playtime. But they did say that with Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 that you could earn them all, but when someone ran the math, it was like, yeah, you'd have to play for like 400 years to be able to unlock everything. So hopefully that's not the case this time round. Something that's really interesting about the variants is that you can break them down into parts, I believe, and then you can use parts to build other rare variants. So that's interesting. I haven't seen any of that in the gameplay. No one's particularly detailed it. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually works, but that could be quite cool. One thing that I will say about the classic weapons, we don't really know anything about it, but apparently there's not going to be any variants. So unlike the other weapons where there'll be 4 different variants, the classic weapons will just have the base version and that will be it. Obviously, supplies dropping in this game is a massive concern for a lot of people. You can't blame anyone for hating supply drops and the way that system has been handled in the past. Again, I don't think supply drops are inherently bad so long as the content in them doesn't influence the gameplay. I think unfortunately Advanced Warfare set a really bad precedent and Black Ops 3 just made things worse. So I really wouldn't be surprised if they're not dramatically different in Infinite Warfare. The fact that you can buy weapons outside of supply drops using salvage is cool, so that might mitigate that issue somewhat, but not if salvage is earned predominantly through supply drops. But yeah, anyway, we'll have to see how that pans out, but that is a big concern. Now, all weapons have perks as well this time. From what I understand, they're a little bit like proficiencies from Modern Warfare 3, but they're way more over the top. So one of the weapons has a nuke perk, which is called the Atomizer. So once you level up the gun enough or you unlock this ability, you can attach this perk, and then once you get 25 kills, you can effectively have a nuke, which is kind of cool. So it'd be interesting to see what these other weapon perks are like, what they do. Are they attachments? Are they abilities? Do they add new sort of kill streak options? Could be cool. So there are definitely a lot of things that don't sound great about Infinite Warfare. We obviously already knew about that beforehand, but there are also a few interesting ideas, unexpected things. Classic weapons, for example, is something that I didn't think that they would do, and I'm really excited about. So I'm going to completely reserve judgment until the game launches, or at least until I get hands-on with it. As much as I don't like the setting and these futuristic laser guns, I'm willing to keep an open mind. I'm really interested to see if they open up the open beta at some point, given how few pre-orders they've had this year. I think it might be 80% less than last time round. So last time, I think they had something like 1 million people pre-order, so quite a healthy amount of people in the beta. But this year, I think it's like 200,000 based on the VG charts statistics thing. There's a link in the description to the charts if you want to have a look. So I think if there's not a huge amount of people in this beta, maybe they'll open it up to the general public, which would be cool. Don't hold your breath because they like holding these things for pre-order bait. But anyway, let me know what you think. After seeing gameplay, or if you've even had a chance to play it, has your skepticism been turned around? Are you actually looking forward to playing the game now, or are you completely turned off? I'm definitely on the fence now. I was kind of anti-Infinite Warfare before, but now I'm thinking there might be a couple of things in this that look interesting. It might be worth a look in. But anyway, that's all I've got for you in this video. I want to thank you for watching, and I'm out.